We're just hours away from the biggest game of the Sixers season as they attempt to even up the series 1-1, fighting against the New York Knicks in this opening round playoff matchup, and I'm not feeling too great right now. We got some updates regarding the injury status of some key players on the Sixers team, that including, of course, the head of the snake in Joel Embiid, who there's plenty of knee injuries to be concerned about already. We also got an update with Tyrese Maxey, and I also think there's a little something that the Sixers are not telling us about Joel Embiid that I am excited to get into. But let's start with the obvious, that we do know that he is dealing with that knee injury. We saw him after an ultimate highlight reel play with the dunk off the backboard, slamming it down on OG Anunoby, him go down and grab that knee once again. This is the third time now that since he has returned that it does not look like that knee is fully stable, that it definitely was an opportunity that at the minimum scared Embiid a ton. That you saw that look in his eyes as he was laying on the ground. So by no surprise, we did get the update that Embiid is listed as questionable due to injury recovery. Now, reading between the lines and what all the comments are saying, I do fully expect Joel Embiid to be out on the floor tonight. That Nick Nurse gave him a great deal of credit talking about what a warrior he is, that Joel himself does not seem like he is any plans on shutting down, is going to give it whatever he has, but what level he is actually at is the bigger question here. That there is no guarantee. In fact, I think there's a much better bet to be made that he is not close to being his 100% version of himself, and to Embiid's credit, he still played very well in that Game 1 matchup. That this Sixers team would not have been in that game if he did not step back on the floor for that second half. They were a plus 14 in the minutes in which he was on the floor and a minus 21 in the minutes in which he was off it. That is the impact that he does make, and even the non-100% version of himself is still among the elite players in the league. But then we got some other discouraging news here, that involving Tyrese Maxey. That just this morning we get the news that Tyrese Maxey is questionable with an illness tonight. Now, for starters, I don't know why Tyrese Maxey has the immune system of a toddler here. My guy Tyrese, come on, man. Drink some orange juice. Pop some emergency. Use some Clorox wipes, man. This is the third time this season that he has been sick, and this is just the all-time worst moment which it could be happening. Now, I still expect Maxey to be on the floor tonight as well, that he did not participate in shoot-around, but I don't think that's a massive concern moving forward. But this is another situation where, with every margin mattering, if he does not have his full win or if he needs a little extra rest tonight, I don't know if this Sixers team can take that he is such a necessary secondary part of this team that he has to be on the floor. And when I was really sitting back and thinking, how do the Sixers get a win in Game 2? What needs to change from Game 1? What is the pathway to producing a win? A lot of it involved Tyrese Maxey, man, that I do think that this Sixers team needs an explosion of scoring from him. And he was good in Game 1. I'm not piling on him. He had 33 points and played really well overall. But my biggest critique of Tyrese Maxey continues to be there's got to be a greater level of aggression and dominance and getting to your spots. That it still feels like things have not quite flipped in his head of him realizing how talented and good he truly is. That he is a real deal all-star. He is a guy that should be looking for his own shot far more often than he's looking for others, and far more often than he is not being involved in plays, which did happen a couple times in that Game 1 matchup. The Sixers need him to be a legitimate number 2 scoring option and potentially a number 1 scoring option, depending on what version of Joel Embiid is out there. Now, to bring it back to Joel Embiid a little bit, there's been so much attention paid to this knee injury, and rightfully so, that is the greatest concern here. But I also kind of think there's something up with his eye. That throughout all of Game 1, there was constant moments where Embiid was wiping his eye, pulling his shirt up, kind of grabbing at it a little bit. And then what I thought was especially interesting, that when you look at him leaving the game, he does have some sunglasses on. And then perhaps what really kind of piqued my interest and made me concerned here is today at shoot-around, he also had sunglasses on. And you can see with the knee there that it is wrapped up or taped up or has the brace on, but with sunglasses just staring there. Now, Joel Embiid is not a guy known to be particularly fashion savvy. It's not like he's out here making a statement, and I will give him a little credit that I think this is a good-looking outfit from him right there. I'm impressed. But the sunglasses are not something that I've ever seen from him before. And I don't know what the specific issue is. I know, I've seen this for concussions before, and I'm sure that is not the case, as this would be a much different protocol. But the fact that he was in a setting like shoot-around still wearing sunglasses like that to me speaks as it's something to be more of a need than anything like a style choice. Now, Nick Nurse was directly asked about that and pretty much brushed off the question, saying that there's nothing there. I don't think it's anything super serious. But if he's having any sort of vision problems or if he's struggling to see to any extent, that is worth noting and a concern for both Joel Embiid and the Sixers team. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. I think it's very strange, all of this going down. And once again, we're getting another example with the Sixers organization of their lack of transparency and their inability to just tell the public what's going on. I never understand the pushback there. Like, I don't get what are you hiding? What is the benefit of just not being open? And maybe because it's a playoff setting that they're trying to be, more secretive about things or whatever the case. But this has been a trend for this organization for years. And even with Joel Embiid this season, we still don't have a concrete announcement from anyone within the Sixers organization for what surgery he even had. All the phrasing still, the procedure or the treatment, none of it has been, hey, Joel Embiid had to get a meniscus surgery, that he did get a non-full meniscus repair. It was a meniscectomy to take off a little piece of it. None of that was made available to the public. This is all this kind of, reading between the lines and getting the scoops that we can do based on the timeline that has been presented. But regardless, the focus has to be on winning the series and more specifically winning tonight's game, because I do throw this matchup into the must-win category. And the reason that I say that is you do not want to drop into that 2-0 hole. But I do know that the saying goes that the series does not start until the road team gets a victory, but I think that would be quite a hole to dig yourself into. And to put that in perspective in the historical context here, when you look back at NBA history for teams that fall down 2-0, just 7.3% of them have been able to scrap out of that. Just 33 teams of the around 450 that have fallen into it, 449 to be exact, that 92.7% of the time, the team that goes up 2-0 goes on to win the series. So that is not a situation I want the Sixers to put themselves into now. And especially this becomes the case because the Knicks continue to run their mouths, man. And we knew this was going to be a battle. We knew what New Yorkers are about. We know all of this. But it's little stuff like this that just increasingly bothers me. During today's shoot-around, the Knicks fans are getting what they want, as on the Jumbotron, it was listed Knicks versus Celtics, the presumed Eastern Conference final by seemingly everyone. And frankly, like, if you ask a Knicks fan right now, I think they probably think they already won the NBA Finals. I mean, I just watched them throwing a parade on the street, burning Joel Embiid's jersey, all this thing's going on. There's a lot of basketball still to be played here, fellas, that let's just pump the brakes a little bit. And to bring it up to that Celtics-Knicks conversation, the Knicks have to win an entire other series before that to be even possibly be the case. So I get the optimism, I respect the passion, but it is a bit over the top coming from the New York fan base there. But it all does not matter if the Sixers team cannot back it up on the floor and find a way to shut them up with their play. Then that all comes down to having their best players being available and capable of playing at a high level, which at this point in time does not look particularly likely. That we do know that there are legitimate injury issues to Joel Embiid. We don't know what level of illness that Tyrese Maxey is suffering through. Now, could this pave the way for a historic, Jordan flu game out of the young Tyrese? Maybe. If we want to look super optimistically, I would love for that to be the case. But I don't love that he's not going to be the best version of himself. That even in the best case scenario, the glass half full outlook here, it's going to be a little extra winded, or him not feeling like, a guy that's ready to run up and down the floor with that constant Energizer bunny-like motor that he does play with. So for now, we can just send some prayers, cross our fingers, and hope that these guys are ready to put on a show tonight. That their bodies are going to allow them to give this Sixers team a chance to win. The Sixers are going to need everything that Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey can provide, and they're going to need some other guys to step up as well. That I do think this is a must-win matchup for this Sixers team. That if you want to prove that this is a legit team, a team that has a chance in this 7-game series, you better show it tonight. So we will see. We will all be, staying close to the phones, keeping our eyes on the updates and seeing what the status of these guys are before the game. Again, I do expect that both Maxey and Embiid will suit up ahead of this Game 2 matchup, but I don't love that we're not going to get the best version of either of them. So we'll see what all happens. Let me know your guys' prediction in the comments. I want a score prediction from everybody watching this right now. Make sure you're smashing that like button to show a little support. Appreciate it a great deal. And hit that subscribe button if you have not already to keep this Sixers Digest family growing. Appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. I'll be back with some coverage following the game. Peace.